It was in the morning, after a night raid. I just found it. Like I was meant to. I promised myself that if I made it out, I would find that girl and thank her for saving my life.
The lucky one, which was me, because I didn't have to see this shit.
Yeah,
You son of a bitch.
I don't know if I would call that luck if it's planned.
Yeah, exactly. It's luck when you didn't mean to do it.
No, I didn't mean to do it,
But when
man.
you plot and scheme and somehow hold your trip back.
It wasn't like I saw that the lucky one was playing. I called up Southwest and said, I'd like to extend my ticket, if you don't mind, please.
I only wish the movie was postponed. Corey, you're just in luck.
Oh, man, I got to hang there.
Or if they shown it on the flight.
Oh, God, yeah.
That flight would go down.
You might have dived out of the plane if that was the case.
But you know what?
If terrorists were on that plane, they would have dived out of the plane.
You know what? There would have been a girl at home who was crying my death. Because that's what happens in every
Your mom
Sparks
would.
movie, right? I mean, isn't this is a Nicholas Sparks movie, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
It's one
yes, it
Nicholas
is.
Sparks movie, and they just keep remaking it. Snares like it.
Yeah.
Seemed like that.
I'm like, how many times are they going to use that same goddamn book cover for every one of these books and movies?
Well, I ain't never seen a writer get so lucky at ad libs, man. You know, it's just because every script is the same. It's just there's so and so returns from so and so, and later so and so dies because so and so has fallen in love with so and so, and all you gotta do is like, who's the latest actor? You know, that's famous.
Yes.
Yeah. Put Justin Bieber in there. You know,
I don't know, though. He seems like in some ways, at least in the Hollywood sense of things, because God knows I've never actually sat down and read the books, but it seems like they're kind of perfecting the formula, which isn't to say that they're any better, because the source of you can't polish a turd. What are you going to do?
Goddamn true with this
but,
one.
you know, at this point, like, I think this guy's a scientist who studies female hormones. I mean, he knows how to, the little locks and keys organically, how to make women's panties wet. And it's irritating to watch as a man because there's nothing for us
did you
here.
know that this is a fact too? I read this, that every print of a movie that is up from a Nicholas Sparks book is coated in a pheromone that attracts women to the theater.
They wouldn't even need that, dude. They just put people like when this started, the woman who introduced is like, all right, ladies, it's Zac Efron. He's all grown up now. He's not a boy anymore. He's a man. And I was like, get me the fuck out of here before this movie even starts.
Well, plus, if the genders had
Seriously.
been reversed and a man was saying that about a female
Yeah,
actress,
oh my God, they'd kick his ass. Yeah, but apparently women are allowed to do that. They're allowed to be like, oh yeah, who cares what he has to say? Look at that body.
Well, Zac Efron kind of looks like a girl in a way, so
He is a little on the feminine side.
he's a little femme.
He is prettier than Taylor Schilling, who is the love interest,
I was
by a
looking
sizable margin.
By size of the-
Oh, my God.
I mean, Taylor
scaring me with
Schilling,
that.
I ain't gonna say anything about it. I'd be glad to have her in my bed, but I was looking at her and Zac Efron together. I was like, who's the fucking chick in this?
You know,
I know.
that is what's happening to these, our male icons today. I mean, some of them might get more muscle, and yet facial wise, they're becoming so metro that they're a lot of times prettier than the actresses.
I would hate to know that there's fucking somebody's using icon at the end of that. Just a male bitch is more like seems like the more proper term for that.
well, like we talked about with Thor, you know, you got Thor and you got Natalie Portman. You're like, wow.
That's what I was
Can I
thinking.
choose?
I was thinking, are these elves from Middle Earth that are coming in getting plastic surgery on their ears and just trying out the leading man roles? Because these you're right, all these guys are very pretty. And Zac Efron, well, he's just dreamy.
Well, plus he's got that perfected George Michael stubble. That's shaved to 0.3.
I know. I got to spray
Seriously.
mine on. I can't even get
You
that.
see other guys with that, even other famous handsome actors, and you're like, okay, well, it's just a guy with like facial hair that looks good on him. But with him, it's like they spent hours designing every last hair to be exactly in line. Like they can't have a single one poking out even a little bit.
I know.
And
You're like, man,
wow.
I bought the fucking Mach 5, the Mach 6, the Mach 10, and I still can't get no goddamn stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's got the speed of light razor to do that. I don't know
It's
what
like
the hell that is.
it's like I had to take like little hairs and just glue them to my face and just like stubble that perfect, man.
Because he is a girl, so they did that anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that explains everything. So what's the movie about?
Oh, you know what? I'll tell you what it's about. If you were to take the premise of Terminator, where you have Kyle Reese who finds a picture of Sarah Connor and he decides, I need to find this woman because she saved my ass, and then you suck out every fucking cool thing about that movie. That's pretty much what you have here.
God, I love you, Koa, sometimes. That was one of those moments. I was like, that was beautiful.
Wow, you're saying it's Terminator with no robots.
No robots, no fucking men, no logic,
sense of urgency, no plot.
no fucking brain, no director, no script.
He's fighting over in Afghanistan.
And he's a Marine. You were talking about Zac Efron.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
Marine,
yeah,
which is admittedly hard to believe right off the bat.
Right.
He's
But
fighting right
still.
next to
But
Justin
you know
Bieber.
what? He's covered in grit for a few seconds and wearing the fatigue, so you go with it. And he's nearly killed.
It's covered in grits.
No.
That's
The
later.
southern part of the film is later.
Okay, I'm about to say, is he serving breakfast over there? That's
He's,
believable.
So he's in one firefight or another, almost gets killed
Several times.
Yeah, several times. Well, the first time he wow, I can't believe I lived. Hey, what's that shiny on the ground? And he picks it up, and it's a photograph of Taylor Schilling just by a lighthouse. He's like, oh, wow. And by going to pick that up, it stopped him from going over where his buddies were and getting blown up. So it's just like, man, this photo saved my life. This girl saved my life.
I must stalk her.
I must stalk this girl.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
I must look for Sarah Connor.
so by looking at the lighthouse in the background of the photo, he finds that lighthouse and figures this girl must live here. Not that she was on vacation, possibly, but she must live here. And I have to go find her and let her know that she saved my life. And he travels across country, finds her in Louisiana, asking around with the picture, goes to her, and she's like, oh, hey, you're here. What can I do for your dog? No, I'm not here about my dog.
Because he's got his German Shepherd with him.
Yeah, and she's a dog groomer, and she's like, oh, you're here for the job. Okay. He said, no, I'm here because
Yes, I'm here for the job.
yeah, the job.
Which is one of those irritating, only in Nicholas Sparks movie moments where you're like, they're actually going to base the entire fucking film around this little weird lack of
company's
communication.
premise.
Yeah, it's a lack of communication.
Okay, so this is a sitcom thing where she's like, are you the man I'm looking for? And,
Yes.
and he shows up, he can't say, so he ends up working there. And I guess after a point, they fall in love, but until he has to tell her the truth.
And then, of course, she's going to
Oh,
get
shit,
mad.
man. I guess you
and-
did see this movie.
I told you, he's seen you've seen another Nicholas Sparks film.
Yeah,
Put my name into this script right here.
But you're right. It's one of those plots where you just can't but help and think, man, if this guy just actually said, look, I found this picture of you and you saved my life. Boom! End of credits.
Well,
Done. That
and
story's done.
The worst
And that's
part
it.
is like it's not like okay if they had done a thing where like I know this is spoiler material but fuck it that where like they had just finally gotten together and that very morning or whatever that night she sees the picture then runs off gets mad. I could have kind of believed it, but it's like a month of them dating, and she is like begging him to tell her that he has so many opportunities. There's no reason he would still be reticent, and he still doesn't say anything. So by that point, I'm like, look, man, you totally fucked yourself. I don't even know what to tell
I don't
you.
even get it. After months of dating and talking and fucking, you would think that wouldn't even matter after a while. You didn't tell me you found this picture of me. I hate you. Get out!
And that is the most infantile thing about the movie because, yeah, when it does come to a head, you're like, why is this even a big fucking deal?
Yeah.
Like, this guy was in a goddamn fucking war. I mean, you could, because the photo, you find out it belonged to her brother who died in the war. And the thing is that, she just like, well, how does it that you found my brother's photo? And and the story's pretty goddamn plain and simple, but
Yeah.
she still finds a way to be angry.
They gotta do that. And you know what the other thing is? I've said all this, and I haven't even seen the fucking movie.
I know. That's
I
true.
predicted everything
That is
that's going on
that
in
is
this.
so goddamn true.
No. You didn't predict her asshole ex.
Oh yeah.
It was,
Because how can we forget the biggest asshole in the universe?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I know.
It's almost like somebody like they went like there's absolutely no conflict in this movie. We have to put one in if we got to stuff it down with our boots.
What do you mean it's almost like? That's the only plausible
right, yeah.
explanation for him at all. Because when he comes in, I mean, you can't make this stuff up, right? So, like, Zac Efron's working in this dog place, and he's just, doing what he's a jack of all trades. And so this he's a cop, right? Small town sheriff. He comes in doing everything but like putting his tongue in his cheek and his thumb through his like belt loop. Going, well, what we got here? Throws him up against like a bench, like searches him for no reason.
No reason.
Like none at all. This is this guy's character in the entire film.
You would have thought Zac Efron was black and was wearing a hoodie throughout the entire fucking movie. I mean,
that plays the asshole.
It was J.R. Ferguson.
Yeah.
Oh, well, with a name like J.R. Ferguson, of course he's an asshole.
Oh, man.
Honestly, if Zac Efron had a car, he would have busted a tail light and gone like, I got to give you a ticket for that busted tail light.
It's like,
he's that cartoonish.
It's ridiculously cartoonist and corrupt small town cop, but you find out that he's also the son of the mayor, so everyone there kind of kisses his ass and goes along with his bullshit. He's an alcoholic. He was the ex-husband of the girl that Taylor Schilling plays here, who Zac Efron's getting together with, so there's that.
It's none of my business, but how did you two end up? I mean, what
possessed me to marry him? Picture this. Senior year, he was captain of the football team. I thought that I was in love. Then I got pregnant. He asked, I said yes. Only thing is he didn't quite realize I expected him to stop dating.
They have a kid together as well, so it's not like she can just go away. He's got to have an excuse to be around. And all that is just manipulated around to a crisis point in the movie that is the most fake crisis I've seen in any of these, with an ending to his character that was so ridiculous that Leon and I both just started laughing out loud hysterically.
It
and
was
I'm sure
hilarious,
it irritated other people in the theater.
Man, we've seen a lot of Nicholas Sparks movies based on his books. And he didn't direct this. I forgot who the director of this.
It was Scott Hicks.
Yeah, the guy who directed Shine and some other stuff. But would you say?
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Damn.
Hearts in Atlantis and all that kind of stuff. Out of all the Nicholas Sparks movies that we've seen, man, y'all are making it sound like that this one's the worst, isn't it?
It almost, I've only seen I think I've seen one or two. I haven't seen too
I've
many.
actually missed most of them.
Really, but the thing is that with this, it almost seems like somebody doing a parody to this point. It really felt so juvenile and ridiculous to where, there's a lot of points in this movie where the entire audience is laughing just at the ridiculousness of it, which was kind of a relief for me, because I'm like, okay, finally, are you guys really starting to see, where all this shit is heading? Nowhere. I mean, and just how ridiculous these characters are, to the fact that, man, soap operas don't even get this fucking ridiculous with some of these character motivations. And I mean, for me, it was the worst. And it's one of those things where I'm like, I can really do without ever seeing another one of these fucking movies again. It's like, you know what? Twilight for me, I'm like, it hasn't gotten that ridiculous. At least there's a fucking wolf running around. But with this, I'm like, I'm begging for anything to be running
You're like,
around.
I'm praying for a sparkling vampire to walk out of the woods right now.
Something,
Damn, anything.
Yeah, something. Because this was just like, man, it was grating.
That Zac Efron was a fairy.
Oh, okay, that's right. I forget that.
I mean, it's criminal how much these movies are starting to be alike. You're right, man. They're beginning to seem like parodies.
They really are. They really are. And I don't know.
I felt less like this was ridiculous as it was just completely bland.
It's just so
watching
dull.
It's vanilla. It's an insult to vanilla to call it vanilla. and it's almost like I was just kind of watching through it. Like stuff was happening around me. Like this movie, if you saw it in IMAX and you sat on the front row, it would still be playing in the background. It just makes no presence for itself.
And even worse, Zac Efron, who I don't think is a terrible actor. We've seen him in some stuff that wasn't particularly good movies, but he would be the standout point in it. Here he's playing it so deadpan, so like, are you supposed to be Zen Zac Efron? Like he doesn't show much emotion about anything in his voice or his mannerisms. He's just plain boring to watch here.
Yeah.
He's a walking piece of fruit in this goddamn movie. I mean, that's all he is.
I almost came to like it when the asshole ex-husband would come on. I was like, well, at least he brings something to this.
Maybe he'll make out with Zac Efron.
Or Blythe Danner, who plays
Oh,
Taylor Schilling's mom, who is, we've seen her play this type of role before, like the slightly wisecracking and wiser older mom who knows these two are going to get together from the get-go. And she has a few nice moments here and there, but only because there's nothing else to like grab at in this film.
She phones it in and she still steals her scenes from everybody else.
Yeah.
She's a good-looking woman, too.
Yeah, she
I
is.
said that before. I ain't even trying to be creepy.
No.
She's a
I was thinking that
woman.
as I was watching it.
You notice that bitch is always painting, though? in every goddamn movie. Like, what are you painting now, lady?
is Bob
What are you
Ross.
painting now? Where's your gallery?
Yeah, exactly. So you should build a museum now. You paint so much in these movies.
Like you and Bob Ross. Yeah.
Happy tree.
Yeah. Happy little Zach.
Not a happy little movie.
Is there anything good about it?
No.
Well, I understood that the actual, like, I mean, it's competently put together for what it is. It's just, like I said, you can't polish a turd. The actual script is fucking terrible. The actors don't seem to really give a shit, but there were some nice cinematography moments in it where I was like, that's a pretty shot. I like the way that was what they chose to do with the camera. There's some moments like that. I was certainly irritated as hell by the non-stop estrogen soundtrack. It was like, this movie was made to sell soundtracks more than it was made to sell tickets.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like every 20 seconds, there was another song that was like, and this is an album only woman buy. You know what I'm talking about? It's one of those. And there's, I mean, like I said, it's better quality than a Lifetime movie would be. You can tell by just the money that was spent on the camera setups and what have you, but not by much.
You know, but when you mentioned the cinematography, I couldn't help but notice, man, you know what? It seems like every single one of these goddamn shots, it's like they're prepping up for the book cover. It's like every frame. Like,
You're not wrong.
Wow, look at what we have to choose from. And I wish I could appreciate it if just there was some goddamn substance to it. You know?
There's nothing there to give a shit one way or the other.
And you know, I almost enjoyed how fucking just ridiculous and over the top that asshole husband cop was, you know, because every scene he talks to his wife, I'm shocked like he didn't have a gun to her head every time he had a talking scene with her, because you were just waiting for him either to punch her or rape her in every goddamn scene. And I'm just like, lady, why in the fuck do you let this guy hang out with you? Like, why is he hanging out at your kid's birthday party?
Yeah.
Like, what is the logic? Where's that
He's
storyline?
taking cake and shoving it in kids' faces.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to God, make me defend this movie in some way, but only because it's his kid too. So that's what allows him in there. I was like, okay, they actually do have a conflict with him because, yeah, it's his son. She can't. I mean, whether he's a cop or not, she cannot take that boy and leave town. Otherwise, she will lose custody.
She get murdered.
This would have been a much
there's that
better
too.
movie if it had built towards a burning bed, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You
You know what? I'm not going to even waste any time. Let's all join hands right here and just have just one big group, some old bullshit.
I mean, you know what? I left it thinking like, I might just give it a low rental. But as I talk about it, when you ask the question, where's anything good about it? I was like, I actually can't think of anything. I mean, yeah, Blythe Danner was fine, but can't really say that's good. She was just okay. But considering everything else, it was just like, this really was one of those movies that was just such a waste of my time. Like, it's not even bad enough for me to be, get mad and want to comment on stuff. It was just like, why is this even here? But yeah, some old bullshit, man.
Yeah, of course you can't say anything else. You're in the group right now. You're in one big bullshit group hug. You can't deny
When you
it.
said Blythe Danner was phoning it in, the whole movie is phoning it in, really. Like, there's nothing here that's even trying. And I, in some ways, that makes me more angry than a film that's filled with incompetence, really. It's just, they just don't give a shit, really, other than like this tried and true formula. I find it did get to a point where I was really irritated about that, but not till after. You watch it and it's just so bland. You're like, whatever. Okay, fine. It's over. But yeah, the more we talk about it, the more I'm like, you know what? It actually does make me a little bit pissed that they just keep putting this same old garbage out and stamping, this is what women like, damn it.
You know, like a raspberry over there right now. You're turning red talking about this movie.
I can't even get mad at it on the whole, but yeah, it's some old bullshit just because what the fuck does it have that is of quality? Exactly. There's nothing worth even telling someone to rent it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you guys. I mean, there was nothing going on. The story you've seen a billion times. You can cut and paste this goddamn synopsis and add it to every goddamn book Nicholas Sparks is doing. I mean, I think they're putting out more goddamn movies than they are the books right now. Trying to keep up. I mean, I was just looking at this thing. I'm like, I think there was like one or two other movies that are already in production, based on probably the last two books.
It's the
he's
same
done.
fucking movie,
and it's the same goddamn. And it's going to be the same goddamn movie poster where I wish the camera could like where they're hanging out in that field where they can pan the camera down and look facing the ground so you can see that big pile of bullshit that's right there that everyone in this movie can easily smell.
Yeah, the
And
poster
they know they're in it.
Justin Bieber and that chick from Little Miss Sunshine.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Looking at each other, staring at each other like they're fucking medicated and shit.
exactly. And like Zac Efron, he's going to be shoveling that old bullshit somewhere on a farm somewhere, and yeah, it's just fucking lazy. I don't understand the appeal of these books, and I don't ever want to understand them. And yeah, it's just a fucking disgrace to film.
Well, it's another one of those dream perfect guys. Like, he literally can't do anything wrong. No matter what happens, or he runs, oh, there's a piano. I can play it proficiently.
Yeah. Oh,
you know? I mean, it doesn't matter. There's an old broken down tractor. I know exactly
know
how to fix it.
The meanest dog in the neighborhood loves me.
How dare you? You had this picture of me this whole time and you didn't tell me. It's like, hey, you fucked a guy who just walked in here out of nowhere and you without knowing his backstory. Let's not point fingers at each other.
Imagine, have you seen your ex-husband? It doesn't matter what I did. I'm still a step
Yeah,
up.
I know. I was like, hey, I don't beat you.
Yeah, and I'd like to close by saying I didn't see this movie, but I predicted everything about it apparently. So I'm gonna give it some more bullshit too.
Good for you.
A fair choice.
How do you explain something that you can't even understand yourself?
Why did you come here?
To find you.